Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast with your host, Funk Roberts.
Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast. This is episode number 84, and I'm your host, Funk Roberts. I'm a former professional athlete and turned online fitness expert, and also known around the world as the guy who helps men in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond completely transform their bodies and lives through nutrition, through mindset, through new recovery and workouts and supplementation. And welcome to this podcast. I'm so happy that you're listening to this because this is dedicated to the man over the age of 35, 40, 50 who's struggling with health, struggling with nutrition, struggling with workouts, struggling to know what to do when our body's changing, because our bodies are changing as we get older. Testosterone levels are naturally decreasing 1% to 2% every year. Sarcopenia, which is a natural loss of muscle due to aging, starts to creep up and making it harder for us to build muscle, to increase our strength, to improve our bone health, all things that we need as we get older. And when we start digressing back to old workouts or diet plans or restrictive diets that don't work, it messes up our entire body. It messes up our entire lives. We have no energy. Our libido's down. We have no confidence. We have belly fat, unwanted fat, obesity. We start getting chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and the big C. Our workouts aren't working. We can't get rid of the fat, and we just feel like everything we do doesn't work. Whether we're skinny fat or whether we're obese, we just can't seem to find the right solution. We try all of the diets. We read online. We do everything we can, and it seems to get us nowhere. Joints are hurting, back's hurting, shoulders hurting, knees hurting. It's like we're falling apart. And then we try to accept it, but you can't accept that, because when you have the right program, when you have the right workouts, when you have the proper nutrition, when you have the proper recovery, when you have a health lifestyle that focuses on your hormones, then you are going to live the healthiest and best and look the best that you ever have as you get older. Hormones are super important. And that's the key to today's podcast episode number 84, because I'm going to talk about hormones. I'm going to talk about how to optimize our hormones for more muscle gain, for more fat loss, and for more weight management. You see, one of the things that a lot of programming or your doctors or your trainers or what you read, it doesn't really empower you to learn. You don't learn anything. You just try to follow something without learning, why am I eating this? Why do I have to stay away from this? Why is this workout doing this? What is this doing? Why am I meditating? Why are you telling me to meditate? Why are you telling me to do mobility? We need to know why we're doing things, because that helps us to become more aware and have more power over the decisions that we make during the day, making it easier for us to stick to that why. Why am I trying to lose weight? Okay. Why? I don't feel like working out, but if I don't work out, this is what's going to happen. If I eat this soy sauce or what have you, this is what's going to happen to my body, to my hormones. So today we're going to talk about those hormones that we need to optimize, those hormones that help us build muscle, those hormones that help us lose fat, the metabolism boosting hormones, the weight management hormones. When you understand what those hormones do, you will have a few. I'm hoping that when you listen to this podcast, you have a few aha moments. You're like, that's why I feel like this during this time. Oh, that's what's happening to my body when I'm doing this. Oh, no wonder I'm not losing weight because I'm doing this type of cardio for 45 minutes. Those aha moments will help you make better decisions when it comes to your health, and know that there's hope. There is. Listen, I run the Over 40 Alpha program, over40alpha.com. It's a program for men over 40. You can be in your 30s. 13,000 men from all over the world completely transforming their lives, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They come in every person who comes into the program, they don't come in shredded and ripped. They come in at the lowest point, low testosterone, highest estrogen levels, which is a female hormone, all of the things that are killing our bodies, plus chronic illnesses, can't lose weight, can't build muscle, et cetera, et cetera. No energy for their kids, for their grandkids, and now completely transforming lives, completely changing lives in the best shape of their lives. So understanding these hormones are going to help you. Now, I don't go dive deep in this podcast. This podcast, by the way, is from a coaching call. So you're going to hear a lot of stuff that come out of the coaching call. I talk about my programming a lot, so that'll give you a little bit of insight. But it's from a coaching call where I like to, like I say, I like to educate. Even though these guys are getting amazing results, understanding more about the hormones that are in our bodies will help them continue to stay on the path that they're and journey that they're on. So this is from a coaching call. I always love to pull my coaching calls out of the into podcasts, just so you guys can and also the guys who are on my coaching call may want to re-listen to this as well. But yeah, I'm hoping you get a lot out of this. I really do. My goal here is to help men regain our manhood. Right, but it has to start within us. I'm not going to go on too much longer before we start, because I want to get you going to learn what the hormones you need to be focusing on and not focusing on, and how to optimize them to the best of their ability to help you build muscle, burn fat, and manage your weight. But before we go, this podcast is sponsored by my brand new Alpha Max Test 3D. This is my cherry flavored testosterone booster. I am so excited about this. This is huge. One of the things that you'll learn about the Funkster is, I create supplements. I have a supplement company, funksupplements.com. First and foremost, Funk Supplements. So my name's on these supplements. So I create these supplements, most of them from scratch, and to get results. Natural supplements. This is an all-natural testosterone booster that I've partnered with my man, Dr. Stephen Anton. I'll have him on the podcast. He's a researcher at the University of Florida. He's world-renowned. He's published hundreds of scientific research articles. He's world-renowned in aging and metabolic health. And so together we created this. We spent a year creating this supplement because I wanted to create a supplement that actually increases your testosterone levels, along with all the other great things that we put in here to support your hormones, decrease estrogen, give you more energy, help you build muscle, improve your metabolic health, burn fat, all of those things in one scoop of Alpha Max Test 3D. And the other thing is I wanted a powder, not a pill, because I wanted you guys to be able to use this in your smoothies, or, maybe it's throughout the day and you're feeling a little lethargic. You put this in some water and the cherry flavor just boom, it tastes so good. And we have launched this, and I want to hook you up with our Alpha Max Test 3D extra strength testosterone booster, baby. Go to over40shred.com/test booster, all one word, test booster, and use code podcast10 and grab your Alpha Max Test 3D. Listen, it's all about testosterone, our number one male hormone. Our testosterone levels naturally decrease 1 to 2% every single year after the age of 30. So by the time we reach 40, 50, 60, it's super low. Plus, estrogen levels are 40% higher than they've been in 30 years. Estrogen's a female hormone. We need a little bit of it, but too much causes belly fat, causes, the man boobs, and blocks testosterone production. So we have to regain our manhood by increasing our testosterone naturally, and doing so will help, and this, listen, the other thing I'm going to include in this, not just the test booster, because I know that that's an incredible supplement, but just because you have this doesn't mean it's going to work. So I'm hooking you up with a program, a 28-day testosterone boost training program with a nutrition plan that will help boost your testosterone. This is a no-brainer. You are getting an entire plan, follow along workouts, not things you got to read. You click play, you work out with the Funkster, abs, recovery. Plus you get the nutrition to teach you how to eat, foods to stay away from. And it's a whole plan. Plus you get this testosterone supplement that is going to help support, your natural testosterone production, improve your energy, boost your testosterone levels, increase that libido, baby. You're going to get better sleep. You're going to feel better. You're going to lower your estrogen levels. You're going to improve your workout performance, improve function and circulatory and the function of your circulatory system, increase blood flow, which we need. It supports healthy prostate, lowers bad cholesterol, improves your stamina, builds lean muscle, increases strength and performance. You're going to burn more body fat faster. You're going to improve your confidence and drive. You're going to encourage your overall sexual health is going to be incredible. And every ingredient in here is backed by science and research. So grab it now, over40shred.com/test booster. Use code podcast10, get 10% off, and get the testosterone boost training program for free, along with my Test Boost diet plan. You have everything you need to get into the best shape of your life in a short period of time. And now let us listen to how to optimize our hormones for more muscle growth, more fat loss, and more weight management. We know how strong it is. Obviously, this program is based around helping us increase our testosterone. So, what are some of the ways that we can do this? So when I go through some of these hormones, I'm going to also talk about how we can tips to increase them, tips to make them beneficial for us. So with testosterone, I preach this all the time, but, metabolic resistance training. Perfect, right? High intensity metabolic resistance training, which is what we do. When I say metabolic resistance training, that means using weight, whether it's through kettlebells, dumbbells, resistance bands, and metabolic workouts, moving from one exercise to another with little rest in between, 20 to 30 minutes. That's the perfect metabolic resistance workout that will help us build muscle, that'll help us increase testosterone after, and then, of course, growth hormones, which we'll get to in a second. Obviously, eating a balanced diet, right? Our balanced don't ditch carbs and don't ditch fats. Why? Because both of those are crucial for testosterone synthesis. Crucial, right? Very, very important. If you're new listening to this, the first thing you want to do is ditch the carbs. The first thing you want to do is not even eat fat, because a lot of times you don't know what good fat is. But those are two things that are crucial for testosterone. Healthy fats are crucial for testosterone production because healthy fats have cholesterol, the good cholesterol. And we need that for testosterone to start that production. So again, healthy diet, protein, vegetables or fruits, depending on the meal, carbs, and complex carbs, and of course, healthy fats. Check your vitamin and mineral deficiencies. I always talk about multivitamin. Why? Because we need optimal vitamin D. We need optimal zinc levels to optimize our testosterone levels, right? So vitamin D specifically can help bring up our T levels. We've learned a lot about the power of vitamin D in general. We learned that most of us are deficient of vitamin D. 2, we've learned that depending on where we live, we're not gonna get enough sun. 3, we've learned that the darker our skin color is, the less vitamin D we have. So throughout this whole pandemic, we learned a lot about the power of vitamin D. Yet there's a lot of people that still don't take that and really push into it, because again, so many studies happened throughout the pandemic just for the virus and for our immune system, let alone all the other hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies that talked about the power of vitamin D along with testosterone. So ensuring that you get your vitamin D on a daily basis is key, not once in a while, but every single day. Getting good enough quality sleep. I talk about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. This is the easiest thing we can do to help start to optimize our testosterone levels, right? Sleep is important because it's during our deep sleep. It's during REM. It's during level 4 sleep is when our testosterone starts that production process. And of course, it's the morning when testosterone production happens. It's actually in the morning when the process starts from the hypothalamus, comes all the way down, bringing hormones into the testes. And then when the hormones get to the testes, it looks for cholesterol to start the production of testosterone. So imagine not having cholesterol, not having enough sleep, not getting that adequate sleep that'll help increase your T levels. And it's, again, obviously so many other positive things that happen when you get 7 to 9 hours sleep a day, or when you get 6 hours of quality sleep. It's not just the quantity, it has to be the quality of the sleep, right? Minimizing stress, right? Again, there's been in this program a few times, we've learned that, depending on what's going on in your life, how stressful your life, how chronically stressed out your life is at the time can 100% affect your testosterone levels. We had somebody, I'm not going to mention his name, whose T levels literally dropped from, at one point they were like 3 something, and then they dropped down to 100. And, as we were going back and forth and talking about nutrition and talking about things that he's doing, he's following the program, but there are a few tweaks. And one of the big things that he told me was the stress going on at work at the moment was extreme. He's working long hours, not getting enough sleep, super stressed. And once all that started to turn around, I think he's at about 400 now. And that only happened, I don't know, 7 months ago, 7 months ago. So, handling the stress, focusing on the body and on optimizing what we can to help minimize the stress in our life. Specifically, as we get older, we don't have to live in such a stressful life. We've learned that we have so many tools to help us de-stress. We have so many tools to help us, handle things better. So many tools to stay positive. So many tools to tap into our mindset, tap into our gratitude, things that'll keep us focused, right? We know that now. We're learning that, and we've got to lean into all of the things that we learn. It's not just about reading about it and it's about leaning into it, trying new things. Oh, you know what? Let me try this. Never done it before, but I'm going to try and see. I'm going to give it a good 2 weeks. Not just going to try it once, because obviously we know when we try something the first time or the second time, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? It's going to be, I didn't like that. Ooh, that wasn't good, right? So we have to lean in a little bit longer when we're trying new things and give it that time, right? Give it that time. It's like when we're watching, like when you're binging on Netflix or whatever. I remember when I watched, oh my God, I can't remember the show. There was a show that I watched. It started off very, very slow, and it ended up being like, I think it was A Wire or something. It started off very slow, but it ended up being one of the best series, right? You had to give it a little bit of time to breathe. It's the same thing with anything that we start. And then let's talk about supplements, some ingredients that help increase your testosterone levels. Ashwagandha, these are all research-based. Ashwagandha, Tongat Ali, Fedosia agrestis. Those are ingredients that literally increase your T levels, not just enhancing them, but will increase your T levels. Some have, some studies have shown 200 to 400 points of Tongat Ali and Fedosia agrestis combined. And I didn't just throw that in this, but these are the two of the main ingredients in our Alpha Max 3D is Fedosia agrestis, Tongat Ali, ashwagandha, 3 things that we made sure that we put in there along with other things, because I didn't just want the testosterone powder to be something that enhances. I honestly wanted it to help increase your T levels. Obviously, you got to do everything else, but there's a lot of research behind that. And again, having high testosterone levels, 600 to 1,000 is our goal. I'm not saying that 500 isn't good. It's just we always want to strive, right? Like when you settle, I'm at 500, I'm good, then it's very easy to digress, right? Whereas if you're always focused on doing the things that are going to help with your hormones, you're always going to be in that optimizing zone, which we always want to be optimizing. Things are changing. There's new studies that come out, new ways to do things. So if we're way behind, man, it's going to be so much for us to catch up. Let's get ahead of the game and optimize what we can. So, having high testosterone levels are great for more energy, great for less body fat, brain, better brain and health, brain health and memory. Obviously your libido and sexual life will improve, and increase in lean muscle, decrease in joint pain, healthier skin, better hair, you're happier and you're more confident. Improvement in your overall health, all the chronic health issues that, generally come with an unhealthy lifestyle, with low testosterone lifestyle, will slowly dissipate, less belly fat, better cholesterol, better sleep. All of these things happen when we focus on testosterone. So that's the first kind of muscle building hormone. The next one is growth hormones and insulin-like growth hormone. Okay, so again, growth hormone or HGH, human growth hormone, like testosterone, is an anabolic hormone, right? We need anabolic hormones to build muscle. And among other things, its function is to repair muscle and repair the collagen tissue in the muscle. You remember, when we work out, we're actually breaking down our muscle. We're actually making our muscles catabolic, right? We want to break down the muscle fibers, break down the tissues. That's what we're doing when we're working out. We're not building muscle when we're working out, right? That pump, when you feel that pump, that's just blood going to your muscle, right? That's not when, oh yeah, I got this big pump, man. My muscles are all pumped up. And then imagine you do your double bicep, you've got big muscles, and then you don't get sleep. You don't have a good post-workout nutrition. You're not doing the things that your muscles need to repair, which is during sleep, right? That's when your muscles repair. That's when your muscles grow. That's when your muscles get stronger. The food that you're feeding your muscles so that they can take those micronutrients and nutrients, the carbs, the proteins that it needs to help repair, right? It's all about repairing and recovering the muscle so that the next time you go into the workout you're about to do, your muscle goes, oh, I remember that workout, Funk. We're ready for it now. Pick up the 40s this time. We're ready for the 40s. Last time, you broke us down, but we got stronger because we need to be able to handle what you're about to bring to us. So I always say it's muscle growth day is your recovery day. If you're in a muscle building phase, we're breaking down muscle when we're working out, which is what we want to do. So having growth hormones is perfect and a great hormone to optimize, to repair muscle, to repair the collagen. And it also promotes the secretion of insulin-like growth hormone, or IGF-1. You may have heard about IGF-1. Insulin growth hormone is another powerful hormone that will help us build muscle. That'll help us recover better, right? So when we release HGH specifically when we get older, you're going to see how, like I say, much more muscle will be able to grow. Right. Muscle will come a little bit easier because, again, we're already behind that 8-ball, sarcopenia, not knowing the right workouts to do. You know what I mean? It's just we're always behind that 8-ball. So we want to optimize some of the hormones. So growth hormones are a very good hormone. That's something that you want. Metabolic workouts are great for it. But what are tips to increase our HGH naturally? Well, growth hormones are also released in the sleep. So it's released during our sleep and it's released during our workouts. So if we have metabolic workouts, that's why the workouts that we do are set up in a way that they're metabolic. They are short workouts, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe 35, depending, but high intensity, moving from one exercise to the other. And what that does is it's the perfect storm to increase growth hormones. Growth hormones are released during that time. When you're doing longer hour cardio, you're on the machine just doing this medium cardio or whatever it is, that's cortisol, the opposite of what we want. Growth hormones decrease because you're working out longer. You're not doing something that's high in intensity. So we want to maximize that. Okay, we want to maximize that. Not eating anything, not eating the right foods, right? Not eating foods that will support our growth hormones. As I mentioned before, exercise, metabolic workouts like we do will release HGH and insulin growth factor 1 as well. And other things too that may sound funny is, sauna and meditation will also increase our HGH, right? You can't do both things at the same time, but after your workout, jumping into the sauna, I can't show, mine's over there, right there. I still use that sauna after the workout, to get into the sauna, nice 15, 10, it all depends for me. Sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 15, sometimes 20. It all depends. It doesn't matter. I just get in that sauna, get nice and hot, take a shower, and then meditating in the mornings. I like to meditate in the mornings. I like to just be mindful in the mornings, give myself 5 minutes or follow a meditation flow. All of these things. And again, the things that I'm talking about when I discuss these things are all positive things, not just for HGH, it's our life in general. Right? Meditation helps with stress levels, helps us be more mindful. So that's growth hormones. The next muscle building hormone is insulin. So this is a tricky one. Okay, this is a tricky one because it's an anabolic hormone, but people don't generally think of insulin being to be very careful with insulin because although its primary function is to regulate our blood sugar glucose levels, insulin also helps with protein synthesis. And it stimulates that pathway for muscle growth and make sure that we get that blood to the muscles, right? Because muscles also need blood, right, in order for it to recover. So when your glycogen stores are full, right, we're helping to maximize protein synthesis, which is why there are bodybuilders out there that will inject insulin. Or on the flip side, I tell you guys after your workout, a lot of times I say after the workout, I want you to try to make sure that you're eating at least 2 to 1 carbs to protein. You're going to still have the balanced plate, but a little bit more carbs. Why? Because your body's glycogen stores have just been depleted. We just did a workout. Glycogen or carbs is what our body needs and uses for energy, right? During our workouts. It will use that. That's the first thing it will tap into. Okay. So now we're working out high intensity. Now our body has no glycogen at all. Then it will move over to the fat stores. But if we don't eat anything specifically with high quality complex carbs after the workout, we're not filling up our glycogen stores, right? Remember, when we fill up the glycogen stores, it starts to help protein synthesis, right? So now we're not, so if you're just having a protein shake and okay, that's great, which most people do after their workouts, they don't realize that you need to replenish the glycogen. No wonder you can't build muscle, and no wonder you're having a hard time getting rid of fat because now you're insulin resistant because you're not doing things at the right time. So working out can definitely increase our insulin sensitivity, which will decrease our developing diabetes or what have you. So that's one of the big things I tell people who are pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic is make sure you're working out, and then after that workout, you're having those that food. So again, insulin, don't get it twisted. Insulin's not something that we want to celebrate all the time. It's that specific window where insulin is the perfect time to use or to maximize it. For us, what is maximizing insulin? It's replenishing the glycogen stores. That's what that means for us. For bodybuilders, it's something different. But for us, that's how we do it. So how do we optimize our insulin? Well, we definitely reduce processed sugars from our diets, right? We've got to try to make sure that we are insulin sensitive, right? Insulin resistant, sorry. So we want to remove processed sugars from our diet. We want to make sure we're getting enough sleep. We want to always be focusing on losing weight, right? Like losing that fat, because an increase in fat decreases our insulin sensitivity, increasing our risk of developing diabetes and insulin resistance, right? We want to try to minimize stress, and we want to eat more fibers, right? They increase your insulin sensitivity, more fibers, which is why I always talk about greens, right? Eat your greens, lots and lots of greens. That's another big key, because the more greens you have in your diet, the more insulin resistant you're going to be, insulin sensitive you're going to be, right? Which is good. It's a good part of insulin. So if you don't like greens, or like I always have my greens powder in the morning, regardless. That's the first thing I have every single morning. I have greens. So for me, it's easy, but I always also have greens when I eat, right? It's just, knowing the value of the micronutrients that we're going to get from eating greens, not just for insulin in this case, but for everything else, for general health, for testosterone, for hormones, for antioxidants, etc. So that's why a lot of us can't always get a lot of greens. So having a greens powder is perfect, because you know that, okay, well, today I didn't eat as many greens, but at least I had my greens powder. So at least I'm covered. Like I'm not digressing. Okay. So what's next? What's the next hormone for muscle growth? Is cortisol. Okay. So here's another one. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and cortisol, too much cortisol, just like insulin, is catabolic, because cortisol is a catabolic hormone. Remember, we have anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic helps us grow. It keeps us metabolic, helps us grow. When things are catabolic, it breaks things down, right? Tears down our testosterone levels, breaks down our muscle. So in the context of what we're talking about, I'm talking about cortisol and muscle cells. Remember, when we're working out, we break down muscle fibers. We break those down so that they can recover and get stronger. So we release cortisol when we work out. But that's where that magic window comes in, because too much cortisol will cause obviously stress, blood pressure, belly fat storage, decrease in testosterone. That's why those long cardio workouts, 45 minutes, 1 hour, all those are catabolic workouts. Those are things that break down your muscles. That's why you see the difference between a sprinter and a distance runner, right? It's a very famous meme where you see the two bodies. Sprinters are ripped and muscular because they don't run long, right? They run very short, maybe four, even you can even see the difference between a 100 sprinter, a 200 sprinter, and a 400 and an 800, right? Because 400 and 800, they're not as muscular as those 100, and 200 sprinters versus, marathon runners who are just, stick figures, because they have no muscle. They're very catabolic, but because of what they do, too much muscle will hinder their performance because it's going to take up too much oxygen. So your body is our bodies are very smart. They'll adapt to what we need it for. But on the sense of the cortisol, that's why let's go back to the working out, where if you're new and you're coming in and people are, just get on the treadmill and, maybe the first week or two, or you're going to lose some weight, but a lot of that weight's going to be water and muscle. And like I mentioned before, we can't lose muscle, right? We're trying to build muscle here as we get older, not lose muscle. So anything over 45 minutes on an ongoing basis, specifically those long cardio that we're told to do, that we're told, this is perfect for weight loss. This is perfect for fat loss. It's not perfect for weight loss. It's literally the worst thing you can do, specifically at our age, if you're not training for something specific. That's not how you burn fat. That's how you lose muscle. That's how you keep that belly fat, because cortisol adds belly fat. So cortisol, although we need it throughout the day, we definitely need this throughout the day. There's strategic times in our day when we need it, fight or flight, when we're doing something that we need to focus, when we wake up in the morning. Cortisol is key for us. When we work out, it's key for us, but it's the chronic, when it's this chronic stress, always stressed out, always angry, always tense. That's their cortisol levels are too high. So the release of cortisol after the workout is bad, right? So again, the context of working out, cortisol will break down our muscle cells during the workout, which is good. But if we're releasing too much after the workout, which is where those long workouts come in, then it's going to be bad, right? So we have to make sure that we maximize it, which we do, right? That's why I put the workouts the way they are. They're set up so that we're not in a chronic cortisol state. So we do need it again for the workouts, because it's going to help us break down. It's going to help us be catabolic when we need it to be. But afterwards, we've got to do our things to optimize our cortisol levels. So, things keeping our stress levels down. That's one of the biggest things. Nutrition is also key. Nutrition, the foods that we eat, the foods that we stay away from, because there are foods that will increase our cortisol levels. Getting enough sleep. Once again, we throw in that sleep thing. That's gonna help keep our cortisol levels low. Reducing stress, in any way that we can. Recognizing if there's a lot of stress in your life and being able to take care of that. Handling whatever it is that's stressing you out. Get a pet. It seems funny, but when I hang out with my cats, we just sit there and we cuddle for a bit. It's very relaxing for those of you who have pets, whatever pet you have. It relaxes my mind, it relaxes my body, and I'm just in a nice relaxed state. And again, start meditating, start breathing practices, be mindfulness, just stress management, because there's always going to be stress in our lives, right? So it's not about how do I get rid of stress completely. It's about how do I manage it, so it's not overtaking my life. Again, as we're getting older, when we're younger, we're grinding for specific, things, monetary things, our career, whatever it is. Sure, but our bodies can handle it a little bit more than we can when we're getting older. So again, the two big takeaways from the muscle side of our hormones is testosterone and growth hormones, right? Those are the two big ones. Insulin has its place. And again, we don't want to increase insulin throughout the day by eating crappy foods, getting bad sleep, trying to get rid of that belly fat. And then cortisol as well. Yes, we do need it throughout the day, but it's at specific times. Too much is going to take us in the opposite direction. Okay. So let's now go to the fat burning hormones. So how do we control our key fat burning hormones, fat regulating hormones? And basically what we want to do is we want to make sure that we understand what hormones do what, right? What are the ones that if we, focus on these, they'll help us to control our metabolism, right? It's all about the metabolism, the metabolic rate in our body, right? Our bodies contain hundreds of hormones. And what these are, they're just chemical messages that tell our cells what to do, right? That's really what they are. They tell our cells what to do. They control everything from our breathing, from our sleeping, from anything that's going on in our body. So, the amount of workouts that we do, the type of foods that we eat, our mood that we're in, our stress, all of these play a key factor in regulating our body's hormones, right? So we have to always try to be on top of these things. And again, that's why this is a lifestyle, right? This is not a program that you just follow for a certain amount of time and then stop. This is literally teaching you how to live this for the rest of your life, healthy, exercising, understanding why you're eating certain foods, why you're staying away from certain foods, how to keep your metabolism going, staying up on your testosterone levels, always getting blood work, on an ongoing basis to see where you're at with your chronic health, with testosterone, with other hormones in your body. Like those are things that, we need to embrace moving forward. So the hormone, what we eat. So what are things that kill our hormones, right? So, obviously what we eat will play havoc on our hormones. That's why we have a very easy to follow nutrition plan. The toxins around us, right? They really do damage to our hormones. If you work in certain places that have a lot of toxins, you feel it. Sometimes you just get used to it. And then you don't know the difference between feeling great and then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to feel this way because you've been in an environment that's so toxic for so long that you think that's normal because becomes your normal, but that is not normal. That's not normal. You can feel better. You can be better. It's like being in a toxic relationship. You don't know what you've just been in this toxic relationship. Next thing you know, you go to this next relationship and it's like, oh my God, this is what it means to love somebody and be in a great relationship. It's the same thing. It's toxic. Processed foods contain toxins that contaminate and clog up all of the cells in our body. So day after day, year after year, toxins are building up through, the environment, through the foods that we eat, through just not doing anything. It prevents our cells from really utilizing the nutrients that you're bringing in. Like maybe you just change your diet, but you're not changing anything else in your life and you're still not getting the results because your body's still in that toxic state, right? So one of the things that we can do is, again, as just like with muscle building, we need to train our hormones. We need to, exercise our hormones and keep them healthy. So let's talk about some of the key weight-related hormones. Number one would be our thyroid, right? I talk about this all the time. The thyroid is key to fat loss. It's key to our metabolism, right? So our thyroid hormone, which is our T3 and T4, it affects almost every cell and organ in our body because it regulates the rate which the body uses calories, uses energy. So that's why weight loss or weight gain is due to the metabolic rate, which is due to your thyroid. People, I hear this, I used to hear this a lot when I was training women. I used to hear the excuse women used to give me all the time. Oh, I have thyroid issues. Like, that's why. Like, I can't lose weight because I have thyroid issues. Actually, I heard it from everybody. But the thyroid issue was the big one that I'm like, yeah, well, let's sit down and talk about why you have thyroid issues. What's your diet like? What's your exercise like? Yeah, you do have thyroid. Absolutely, you do. Your thyroid is not it's not moving at a rate. It's not optimized for you to increase your metabolism because of the lifestyle you're leading. So 100% you're gonna have thyroid issues. Yes, there are people who definitely have thyroid issues based on something that's happened in their life or their health. But most of the time, it's something that you can definitely turn around. And again, one of the big things is don't ditch those carbs, right? The complex carbs are the number one thing that if it comes to our nutrients that our thyroid needs to keep it going. So that's why, carbs is key. Every meal that we have, we've got to have a source of complex carbs, good carbs. So thyroid, number one for fat burning. Number two, adiponectin. This thyroid adiponectin is our body's fat burning torch, right? It signals the fat cells to release fat and uses it for energy. So it also regulates a person's metabolism, the rate of metabolism, specifically a resting metabolism. So many people who have chronically low adiponectin levels, that's how you see most of those people become type 2 diabetic or obese, or they get heart disease because they're not optimizing their adiponectin levels. So rather than taking an adiponectin supplement, which you could probably do, the best way to increase is to consume, get rid of the shitty foods, obviously, add a little bit more ginger, add a little bit more turmeric, some chili powder, some of those chili peppers, things like that will help kickstart your adiponectin. Taking fish oil. So that's a big one. Fish oil increases your adiponectin by 14 to 60%. That's all that is just adding fish oil, but not just fish oil. The reason why we have healthy fats, as well as the fact that it can increase your cortisol levels, is it also increases your adiponectin. That's why people tell you to eat healthy fat to lose fat. Avocados, nuts, olive oil, all of those things are going to help our adiponectin level. Omega-3s. Why do you think that there's a reason why I put the men's daily stack together. I put the daily stack together for a huge reason. I didn't just willy-nilly pick supplements that are like, oh, let me just throw this supplement here. Let me just get this. No, there are reasons not only for our T levels and our health, but for our hormones. Omega-3s. I picked that specifically because of the testosterone, the fat burning, we don't get enough omega-3s. Vitamin D, we talked about vitamin D. That's another specific vitamin supplement that I put into the stack. Why? Well, we talked about it before. Probiotics for gut health. If we don't have a healthy gut, then all of these things that we're taking in aren't going to get used. They're not going to get to where it needs to go, right? So those are three key. And then multivitamins, of course, just to make sure that we're getting our vitamins and minerals that we may not be getting through foods. But again, so here's another case where omega-3s are key because they're going to help with increasing our adiponectin, that hormone that is going to help us burn fat and keep us healthy. Number 3 is insulin. Once again, this is another tricky one. Insulin is produced from the pancreas. So when we take sugar or glucose, so when we bring in a lot of sugar or glucose, that's when our insulin is produced. And again, there's several functions. One of them is regulating our blood sugar levels. So the carbs that we eat will specifically produce glucose, which our body uses, right? So our body needs glucose as energy, right? So this allows the cells in our muscles, our livers, and the adipose tissue to use that glucose when we bring it in. The key is it's this type of carbs that you eat that are going to affect your insulin, right? So if you're eating processed foods, if you're eating too much pasta, if you're eating sugars, all of the simple carbohydrates, that of course is going to affect your insulin levels. That's what keeps you as a diabetic. It's the foods, the type of foods. It's not carbs, it's the type of carbs you're eating, because those aren't effective carbs that will help your body turn that into glucose, right? So we have to make sure that we're not eating the bad carbs because glucose that cannot be used in the cells gets converted and gets stored as fat, right? So, and it's good in some case because when our energy levels are low, we can grab that. But what happens is we keep eating bad foods, the foods we keep eating. So our insulin, you get an insulin spillover and the body just keeps holding on to the fat. And then when we stop eating carbs, now our body has no energy coming in. So it's just going to continue to hold on to fat. So we have to regulate our insulin release by, and there's certain ways you can do this. Again, the good thing for you, this is not something that you have to, well, if you're brand new, this is good because you're learning. But if you are in this program and you've been following the nutrition, this isn't something that you really need to be worried about. This is something that is an educational piece, right? Because the foods that we eat will make sure that your insulin levels are balanced, right? Making sure that you have a protein with every meal. So to regulate your insulin release, right? One good thing you can do if you're still feeling that you're having a little bit of problem with your insulin is taking a shot of apple cider vinegar. That's we've heard a lot about apple cider vinegar, whether it's gummies or taking a shot. It doesn't taste great, but that's a good thing to do on a regular basis. Just have a shot of apple cider vinegar with the biggest meal of your day. But other ways is carbs, right? Complex carbs, and making sure we take carbs with protein. That's another big thing is when you take carbs with protein, it allows those carbs to effectively turn into glucose, right? That's why you always have to have a source of protein with every meal, period, whether it's even with a snack, but in general. And then eating, foods like fruits and vegetables and steel cut oats, like all the things that you see on our food list will help your insulin, will help keep that. So that's the good news. You just follow the list and just choose the foods you like from the list and you're fine. You just have to make sure you have a complex carb, starchy complex carb, you have vegetables or fruits on your plate, depending on the meal, a source of high quality protein, and of course your healthy fats, and you're good 3 times a day. That's it. That's all you need. The next hormone that has to do with fat burning or weight loss is ghrelin. Ghrelin is our hunger hormone. And if we've got too much of it coursing through our veins, we'll always be hungry. So if our ghrelin levels are high, we're always going to be hungry. So controlling our ghrelin levels is the number one thing you can do to help with binges and hunger when you get those hunger pains and binges. That's because your ghrelin levels are high. And ghrelin is produced in the stomach and the hypothalamus. And its production is mainly controlled by food and by sleep. So carbs and proteins will restrict ghrelin production, which will make us feel fuller faster. This is why I tell you guys, if you still feel like you are hungry throughout the day, what also happens is on the weekend, you get that sugar. You're like, man, I feel like sugar. I'm always feeling like sugar. It's because you're not eating enough carbs and proteins throughout the week on your plate. You don't have enough carbs on your plate. You should not have to eat more than 3 times a day. Yeah, a protein shake or protein drink is fine. But generally speaking, in an 8-hour window or 10-hour window, you should not be eating more than 3 times a day. If that's the case, then you're not eating enough carbs. You're not getting enough proteins. You're not getting enough of the things that will control your ghrelin levels and keep you feeling fuller. So and that also tells you that your body needs more carbs. If you're always hungry, it's like, wait, we need more complex carbs, good carbs. Because what your body wants you to do is go to the opposite and go, give me more sugar, give me more salt, give me more, give me more of that processed stuff, right? The bad stuff that's going to clog up the arteries, clog up the cells, and keep us overweight and unhealthy. So, that's the first thing you can look at is kind of like, oh, I'm still hungry. Let me just add a little bit more rice or a little bit more steel cut oats or a little bit more, let me have a potato and a half of sweet potato or what have you. But always go there first. To control your ghrelin levels, another way is getting more sleep. Once again, sleep is going to be the main theme of this. 7 to 9 hours sleep will keep your ghrelin levels under control. People who don't get a lot of sleep tend to eat more. They tend to eat more because their ghrelin levels are higher. So they're always hungry. They tend to eat more a lot of crappy foods, right? So it's that's pretty much the case. It's because the ghrelin levels are out of control. Eat plenty of nutrient dense foods, plenty of fibrous foods, right? That'll fill up your stomach if that's the case. So ghrelin again is one of those that we have to control. Now, on the flip side, there's leptin. Leptin is the other hormone. It's the contrast to ghrelin. It tells our brain when we're full. So it's triggered by our fat cells, so that when you have more fat, the more fat you have in your body, the more leptin you'll have. So that may sound like a good thing, but that's not a good thing, because too much leptin will numb the brain to the fact that it'll stop telling us when we're full, and you'll just keep eating. So a lot of people who are obese have messed up their leptin levels, because leptin, the more fat you have, it blocks the brain from telling your body, hey, we're full. But when you have too much fat, when you have too much body fat, that's why the first thing we try to do is decrease your body fat in the program. It plays tricks on your leptin levels, on your brain, telling your brain you're not full. You need more food. And then you just keep eating more and more and more. So leptin is one of the reasons that restrictive dieting is not a good idea, because you either eat more or you cut back. Both of those will mess up your leptin levels. So when we cut back drastically on our food intake, our fat stores shrink, the amount of leptin reduces and produces more hunger cravings. So a lot of people restrict. They restrict for a specific amount of time, and then all of a sudden they want to eat the whole world. Like Rob Raimondo, you went on that. I put you on that 7-day photo shoot diet where you had to restrict the foods you were bringing in. Tell me, after you were done, how much food you want to eat. You want to eat the whole world, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
I was so hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. You want to eat everything.
It was beyond control. I had to control myself to keep things in check, but I knew that it was not within my control, that something was going on inside that was like, you need to eat food.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for So it was it's a diet that I use, that it's in the bonus program. It's a photo shoot diet, and it's a 7-day diet that I used to get ready for photo shoots. But it's the same type of diet that bodybuilders used to get on stage, or not as much fighters, but in a sense, it's the same mindset, but you're restricting. So our hormones are all out of whack. That's why it's something you don't do on a daily. You just do it once for a specific reason, because it's not healthy whatsoever. But there's a case where on one side you're restricting leptin gets messed up. On the other side, have a lot of body fat, leptin gets messed up. So either or, because I'm lean and ripped, but doesn't matter when I'm restricting food, my leptin levels are like, hey man, we need more food. And then after you're done, because you can only go so much restricting foods. That's why these diets don't work. These restrictive diets, these diet plans that have you only eating this type of food, all of these low carb, low fat, all these diet plans, these fad diets, which could work for some people. I'm not saying a keto diet couldn't work for a 20-year-old person, or a yoga instructor that has no muscle, or what have you. Like, sure, that could maybe work for them, but that doesn't work for us. We can't do that. We have to focus on our hormones. So restrictive diets are a major reason why you guys, and I know I've been on gajillion diets, specifically in my 30s, and every single time even when I bounce back even bigger. Even weight, even more fat after doing that. So to optimize our leptin levels, we got to eat, again, balanced plates, right? Balanced plates for three meals a day. The type of workouts we do, metabolic workouts, will help. Omega-3s, fiber, protein, just everything, and sleep. Of course, sleep again will help with our leptin levels. So, just understanding, leptin makes us hungry. Ghrelin tells us that we are full. Right. And just balancing those are what we do anyway. Like I said, you don't have to Funk, if, I am feeling a little bit hungry, could that mean this and that? Yeah. Anyone who's been in this program, following this program, your leptin and ghrelin levels are not out of control unless, you're doing something specific or you're in a situation where you have a lot of stress, but you also know how to get that back into balance. anything here that I'm talking about right now, you know how to optimize just by following this. We know that's what this program is about. It's optimizing our hormones as men in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 30s. That's what we have to focus on. More people focus on the weight or on this and that, but it's the hormones. When our mind is driven by our hormones and optimizing specific times that we know that these hormones are going to be released, or we know what these hormones do, then it makes things it makes things easier in the sense that you start to understand more. Why do I not want to have soy sauce on all of this beautiful sashimi that I just had? Well, soy, first of all, will kill our testosterone. It's estrogenic. It's got a lot of sodium in it. So here I am. I have this beautiful sashimi, protein, high quality fish, omega-3s, and now I douse it with soy sauce. It just kills the whole thing. You just literally killed your whole entire. But if you know that, then you know the reason why. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna have some wasabi, and I'm gonna just enjoy the taste of sashimi without all the extra shit on it. I'm gonna actually enjoy. My palate's gonna enjoy the fish. I'm just using that as an example, but it allows you to control what you do and when you eat. Yes, we can have our cheat meals or guilt-free meals, but when you understand things, the power behind your lifestyle and your nutrition and your body and your health, levels, man, levels. Let's go into glucagon. Glucagon is produced in the pancreas and raises our glucose levels. It breaks down carbs and uses those carbs for energy. But too many simple carbs, right, will overpower our glucagon, which causes excess body fat storage, right? So there's where those simple carbs, that's why we want to stay away from those, right? We want to stay away from all those simple carbs that we used to eat all the time. So the solution to our elevated glucagon levels, which usually happens when you're moving into the program, when you're newer to this, or you're still trying to figure out the nutrition, which generally should take you a month of phase. You want to eat high quality protein, healthy complex carb diet, of course. So salmons, eggs, chicken breast, halibut, steak, grass fed stuff, organic stuff. I mean, you can eat chicken legs, chicken, any type of chicken, doesn't matter. I mean, try to make it organic is the key. But the days of I can only eat white meat, that's 1970s, right? You can eat any type of chicken. It's what you put on the chicken. It's the chicken sauce that you put on it, right? If that's how you cook your chicken, that's what you have to worry about. I think that's it. Yeah. So again, when it comes to fat loss, obviously, and weight management, it's our thyroid, which we know carbs are going to help that. And of course, the workouts that we do, it's our adiponectin, which, omega-3s, sleep, and maybe adding a little ginger or turmeric or what have you, like cooking, when we season our foods, season our meat, we're seasoning it with seasoning, right? Not with sauces, right? Seasoning, like to make our foods taste good. That's what makes the food taste good. It's the seasoning that you put on that food and let it sit. That's what's going to make it taste good, not steak sauce and all that barbecue sauce. Like that's the processed foods and the sugars, the tons of sugar in that, right? The hidden sugars that are clogging everything up. Balancing our insulin, which we know how to do, ghrelin levels and our leptin levels, knowing how to control that. And knowing that if you are overly hungry all the time, the first thing you want to look at are the carbs and proteins that you're eating on a daily basis, right? Are you eating enough carbs? Put some more carbs on that plate. Your body needs it to metabolize. Your thyroid needs it to metabolize, right? Cortisol levels, of course, keeping those low, right? Cortisol levels, we need to, I didn't talk about that. That's a stress hormone. So cortisol level is a stress hormone. Again, it stores fat. That's one of the things that cortisol does. It stores fat and robs you of muscle tissue if you have too much. So keeping our cortisol levels, our stress hormone at bay is key. Again, there are times when we need it throughout the day, but consistently being in that stressful state of mind. Not taking care of things, that's stressful. That's cortisol. Not taking care of, my FedEx bill here and keeping the FedEx bill here that I have to pay off. $79 to FedEx. Just pay it, right? But keeping that sticks back here. All of those little things, those behaviors, that sticks back. Just facing those behaviors or stressful situations, or talking things out with your wife, or not going to bed angry. They don't just say that for the sake of talking foolishness. Literally, don't go to bed angry. Talk it out, because that affects your sleep. Right? Cortisol levels are high. You're getting horrible sleep because you're just getting angry with whether it's your wife or your friend or whomever it is, somebody at work, whatever it is. Like, you got to take care of that stuff so that you cherish your sleep. You cherish that sleep. The main theme of this whole thing was sleep. I said it probably 50 times. Going through this whole thing, sleep, gonna get sleep, good sleep, 7-9 hours quality sleep. That should tell you something. I know, funny enough, that there's some times where if I don't get enough sleep for 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 or 4 days, not getting enough sleep for 2 days will affect your testosterone levels. There's studies on that. But if I don't get good sleep for 2-3 days, 4 days even, and I look at my body in the mirror in the morning, and the first place I see it is in my obliques, because that's where the fat is the tire. It's in your obliques. That's where you're going to see that fat mostly. And I can see that. I'm like, oh, frick, man. Like, it's the real deal. Like, it's not massive, but I can see the difference. And then when I get 2 days good sleep, freaking, it's gone. It's crazy. It's gone. Like, that's how powerful these hormones are, right? That's how powerful they are. So sleeping is the key. So cortisol, glucagon, leptin, those are things that we just lost my train of thought there, but those things that we can control all of that, right? We can control all of it with we already have the workouts. We already have, the tools that we need and understand to get better sleep. Like, that's all in our control, right? We can control getting better sleep. Right. We can control the environment that we sleep in, the bed that we have. Like, we got to buy a new bed because it's like in all of these travels throughout the last 3 months that we've gone through, sleeping in so many different beds, and knowing what beds work for me and what beds don't for my back and for our sleep. Man, there are some beds that were incredible. Like, it's just like as soon as you lie in it, it's just like, okay, this is the difference between sleeping on a cot, sleeping on this type of bed here in a Motel 6, sleeping in a cabin, and sleeping on a freaking, $6,000 bed. I get it. Right. So it's like, okay, we've got to invest in that. That's an investment in our health, in our life. Like, that's an investment. Not saying the bed 6,000, but when we reach out, they're like, oh yeah, that's this bed and it costs this much. Like, okay. Yeah. All of those things, the environment that you sleep in, is it clean? Is there a TV in the room? Is there not a TV in the room? We can control that to a sense. We can control what we can control. But if we're not doing anything and just blaming it on everything, my bed's right by the window on a major street, and all I hear is sirens and this and that. Well, do everything else that you can do, right? Get a supplement, Sleep Shred, helps you sleep through the night. We know about our nutrition, right? 3 meals a day, balanced plates, making sure that we have the foods that we enjoy eating, right, from the food list. And then if we're still hungry or we still have the sweet tooth, add a little bit more carbs. And yes, we have 3 planned guilt-free meals a month. Take those meals. Eat whatever the frick you want in that meal. You need those guilt-free meals. But you can also do things around those meals to make sure that it doesn't damage you and yourself, that in your mindset that much, because sometimes when people eat guilt-free meals, it really affects their headspace. Just eat the guilt-free meal at night as your dinner, and then fast the next day for 16 hours, because your body's always going to have enough carbs and glucose and everything else to get you through. And that will just help you in your mind. It'll help your body digest all the crappy food. And it's another good strategy around guilt-free meals, eating those guilt-free meals, having it, not even worrying. Like, I'm not even worried as when I'm eating a guilt-free meal. I don't care. I'm eating this and I'm just, but I already have a strategy in place. Tomorrow, we're not, when Angela and when we do that, we're like, we're not eating for, till tomorrow night. Like, we always joke, like, we're not eating anything till tomorrow night because of this. And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. All right, great. And then we're good. The workouts, again, we already have that in place. Get the most out of those workouts. When you go to work out, show up to work out hard, right? Challenge yourself. Try to get through a whole interval without stopping. If it hurts a little bit, try to get 3 or 4 more reps, 3 or 4 more reps, whether it's with weight, with your body weight. Just as soon as you feel that burn, that's when you got to push to another 3 or 4. Go get through that burn. The burn is when most people stop. The burn, when you see me in the workouts and I'm like, I can't do it anymore, I've literally hit failure. Like, I've already gone through the burn state, right? I've already gone through that burn state. I just don't say, oh, it's burning. It's like, as soon as I'm like, it's like there's nothing left, because I went through the uncomfortable burns. When something's burning and hurting and it's uncomfortable, not hurting in the sense of like you're doing something wrong in the technique so it hurts. It's like hurting, meaning that burn. You got to push through that burn 4 or 5 more reps. Then you can do and then get back in, because that's going to train you to live in that uncomfortable time, right? Most people, as soon as they feel it, can't do it. No. We got to live through those. That's when the magic happens, in that little spot right there, when it's hurting, it's burning, and you're pushing through that. You're screaming at me. You're swearing at me. You're swearing at yourself. I know when people are going through. I remember when I used to do the fight class, I used to train fighters. I knew when they hit the burn state, because they always would be like, I knew that was the time. They're like, okay, they're in that state now. Now it's a push. Let's go. Keep going. And now it's just they're releasing whatever they can to get them through that burn. When we work out here on our thing, you should see all the people that look over this. Like, what the hell's going on there? Because Angela and I are just like trying to get that last thing up. We're always grunting and breathing heavy and grunting, but that's training ourselves to get through that. That's getting in that uncomfortable spot where we need to grow. And that, again, will help us grow. That's where the more you get through those times, you're going to be able to last longer, lift heavier, and of course, those things relate, they get passed over to your normal life, to regular times when things are tough. You're like, I can handle that. Geez, I do these workouts. So you think I can't handle something like this? Come on, let's go. Give me more. Pile some more on. Let's go. Right? I know how to handle this thing. I know how to be uncomfortable and get through it. I know how to handle that stuff. That's what these workouts are all about. Challenge yourself every time you go. Even if you don't feel like working out, you had a bad day, you don't feel like working out. That's when you can just at least go through the motions. At least go through, because you start 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, you're crushing the workout. Right? You're starting in, I don't have any energy. And next thing you know, you're crushing the workout. Like, wow, I started. I didn't think I had any energy. I didn't think I had enough to get through it. But I did, because I started it. And then all of a sudden I'm here. I want more now. Right? Our nutrition, our workouts, our recovery, embrace the recovery. One thing, the good thing about keeping our cortisol levels down and keeping our bodies, our muscles, supple, keeping our body supple and making sure that we don't get injured is the yoga, is the mobility, is the warm-ups and the stretching. I always tell you guys this: if you had to pick between the abs and the stretching, you're doing the stretching 100%. You're stretching after the workout. Abs you can do anytime, but we don't want to injure ourselves. We don't want to come back tighter. Right? Stretching is not about being more flexible. It's about keeping our body so that we're not tight coming in the next workout. Right? We're coming back so that our hamstrings are tight. So now that our hamstrings are tight, our knees have to do more work, or our hips get tight. Or all of these things that we can control by just having that post-workout stress time to just get the cortisol down, Okay, now I'm stretching, and I know that the mobility that I do tomorrow or the yoga that I do tomorrow is going to help me be more mobile, going to help me be more agile, going to help with my core, going to help with my stability, going to help with my balance, so that the next time I do a workout, I can crush it. Or in life in general, we're doing this all the time. We need to open up. That's why the mobility is so important. Right? You want to live injury free. You want to live pain free to a certain extent. You want to live a life where you're waking up out of bed, jumping out of bed, not kind of crawling out of bed because your knee hurts, your back hurts, your hips tight, your shoulders. No, man, you can't. That's not how we live. So that we need to implement that into our everyday program, which we have. So everything we have will help us with these hormones, both if it's building muscle or if it's burning fat. Just follow. And, like I'm always open to, things are always changing, right? I'm trying to stay on top of, the testosterone piece of stuff a lot, hormonal stuff. I'm always, I get strength and conditioning stuff all the time, but, anything that you guys see that, relates to, remember, it's men over 40. Okay. Not just general fitness. There's a lot of stuff out there, but it doesn't relate to us. It doesn't relate to us, our hormones and things that are happening to our body. That's why we need something that's a little bit more focused. So understanding, these are the hormones. What I talked about here is in general, but it also has a lot to do with what we struggle with, right? Sarcopenia, natural loss of muscle due to aging, low testosterone levels across the board, high estrogen levels, which we need a little bit for our sex life, but too much estrogen will kill our testosterone, will cause body fat storage, and not the good body fat storage. The unhealthy body fat, the fat that kills us, the fat around the liver, around our organs. So we have to make sure that what we're doing will help us as we get older. Okay. So on that note, I hope this information was helpful. Come back to it all the time. I'm always talking about testosterone quite a bit, knowing that this week we are going to be relaunching our Alpha Max Test 3D Sherry flavor. It tastes absolutely amazing. So for those of you who purchased before and didn't return, you guys are going to get a code, and then there's going to be a pre-sale because it starts shipping on Tuesday. So we're going to do a pre-sale first. So for those of you who want to jump on this, there's only 700 bottles. And I have a feeling this is going to go very, very quickly because not only does it taste good, but it works very well. So there's going to be a pre-sale throughout this week. And then next week is going to be the general launch, so the price will be a little bit more. So yes, that's where we're at right now. So just look out for just look out for this. Get your hands on this, man. I'm telling you, this is incredible. And we've done a lot. I'm going to have the doctor on either on our podcast next week or either on this next week or a podcast to talk about this. He's a doctor that I formulated this with, that we spent a year formulating. I really, truly appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing. Have a great week. Make sure you go through your accountability. Make sure that before you go to sleep tonight, please write out 3 things that you want to get done tomorrow. Write those out on a piece of paper. What are the 3 things you want to do to get done tomorrow? And just take 2 minutes each thinking about the action plan behind it. Okay, I need to do this tomorrow. I need to pick up my daughter at skating tomorrow. I don't know, whatever. Well, I'm just making an example. So in order for me to do that, when I go into work tomorrow morning, I'm going to tell my boss, hey, I got to leave at this time to pick up my daughter, blah, 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 blah. Done. So now you don't have to think about that when you go to bed, right? Or whatever it is, whatever it is, just 3 things that you want to make sure you get done tomorrow, put a plan behind it. So that's out of your head when you go to bed tonight so that you can sleep a little bit better, so that we can keep cortisol levels at bay, so we can keep our testosterone production high, and we can build muscle, we can burn fat, we can stay as alpha as we can be in the best shape of our lives. Okay, everyone? Yes, have a great day. Much love, and talk to you guys throughout the week. Get it done.